I'll never forget the morning I stepped out to feed my cattle and found a gleaming Bentley sprawled across my barn door like it owned the place. The chrome still carried the scent of fresh wax. The tires barely had a speck of dust, and there it was, blocking the only way I could get my tractor out. Of course, it belonged to none other than Karen, the self-appointed queen of our HOA. She leaned against it, sunglasses on, smirking as if daring me to say a word. Karen has a knack for turning ordinary mornings into full-blown battles. But that day, she didn't just park a car, she parked a declaration of war. And I wasn't about to let some overpriced hunk of metal decide whether my farm thrived or failed. Before we dive in, drop a comment telling me where you're watching from and what time it is there. You've probably guessed by now, I'm not the guy who fits neatly into the HOA's glossy brochure version of community living. My name's Tom, and I've spent most of my 52 years working this land. It's more than dirt and timber, it's heritage. My father built the barn with his own hands. My grandfather taught me to mend fences and rotate crops long before I ever drove a truck. Around here, neighbors used to wave at each other from tractors, not report each other over unsightly barns or livestock noise. That changed when the HOA moved in. Suburban families lured by cheaper taxes thought country life was charming. They came in with granite countertops, manicured lawns, and endless rules. Leading the charge was Karen, a woman who believed a clipboard gave her sheriff-like authority. Karen wasn't just any HOA president. She printed bylaws for fun, highlighted them, and went door to door enforcing them like gospel. The first time she visited, she wrinkled her nose at my barn as if the wood itself were contagious. "This structure is unsightly," she said, in a tone reserved for finding a rat in your kitchen. "It doesn't meet community aesthetic standards." I laughed. That barn had stood longer than any house in our cul-de-sac, weathered storms, droughts, and even a small tornado. Meanwhile, Karen's idea of heritage was probably a designer handbag from last season. From that day, it was war. The complaints started small. My rooster crowed too early, hay bales were too close to the property line, manure smells, tractor noise, even dust after harvest. One time, she demanded I tarp my hay bales because they were an eyesore. I asked if she also wanted curtains for my cows. She didn't laugh. Karen rarely did, except at someone else's expense. And the HOA board bent to her every whim. Most were her friends anyway, transplanted neighbors who initially thought a working farm would be picturesque, until they realized real farming involves dirt, noise, and smells. Still, I tried to keep the peace. I patched fences, kept my dogs on my property, even turned down Johnny Cash on Saturday mornings. But nothing was ever enough. Karen was convinced my barn, tractors, and way of life were nuisances to her perfect community. Let me paint you a picture of our land. My property stretches wide, dotted with oaks and maples, the barn at the center like a heartbeat. Every day begins the same. I get the tractor out, haul hay, feed the cattle, and make sure everything runs smoothly. The barn door is the lifeline. If it doesn't open, the whole farm stops. That's exactly what Karen wanted. I'd heard her comments at board meetings. Maybe Tom should sell. A modern development could raise property values. She said it with a smile, but what she meant was, I want you gone. Flatten land for cookie-cutter subdivisions like Whispering Pines or Golden Meadows. People like Karen see tradition as clutter and progress as whatever makes them richer. So when I saw her Bentley blocking my barn door that morning, I knew it wasn't bad parking, it was a message, a test, a declaration that HOA rules mattered more than my life's work. And she stood there sipping her iced latte, knowing exactly what she was doing. But she couldn't understand that when you block a barn door here, you're not just blocking wood and hinges, you're blocking survival. I stared at the car, sun glinting off the spotless paint, thinking, this is where Karen crossed the line. My cattle don't care about HOA rules, they care about food. My tractor doesn't care about bylaws, it cares about work. And me? I'm not bowing to a woman who thinks she can bully a farm with chrome and leather seats. Karen thought she was clever. She thought wealth, HOA connections, and a shiny Bentley were weapons. She forgot one thing, on a farm, the strongest weapon isn't money, it's horsepower. And I was about to remind her, the hard way. By the time I reached the barn, Karen perched on the hood like it was a throne. Oversized sunglasses, a wide-brimmed hat, a smug grin, it was performance. "Good morning, Farmer Tom," she said sweetly. "Hope you don't mind. I needed a place to park while the landscapers finish my driveway." I stared at her and the car blocking my barn. "Karen," I said slowly. "This isn't a parking spot. It's my barn. I need the tractor out now." She tilted her head, feigning innocence. "Oh, I'm sure you can wait a few hours." "Your tractor. Can it take a break?" She giggled, as if farm work were a cute hobby. That laugh lit a fire in my gut. "My tractor doesn't take breaks, Karen. My cattle need feeding. My hay needs moving. That's how this place runs." She waved a manicured hand dismissively. "Honestly, Tom, your operation is outdated. Do you expect the neighborhood to tolerate all this dirt and noise forever? Maybe you should modernize." Her smile hit a dagger. Parking the Bentley wasn't about convenience, it was control. She wanted me powerless, forced to watch my land grind to a halt because she said so. "Move the car," I said firmly. She smirked and slid off the hood. "And if I don't?" I stepped closer. Her grin faltered slightly. "Are you threatening me?" "No," I said. "I'm promising you." She pulled out her phone. "I could report you right now. Intimidation, harassment, HOA violations. Your rooster incident already put you on thin ice." I almost laughed. That rooster just did its job. Karen loved twisting ordinary life into violations. I kept my temper, knowing losing it would play right into her hands. HOA disputes were her battlefield, paperwork and fines her weapons. I realized I couldn't win this fight on paper. I had to win it in the dirt, my way. "Fine," I muttered, walking back to the house. "Enjoy your temporary parking spot." Her laughter followed, nails on a chalkboard. But something clicked. Karen thought she'd beaten me. She didn't know she'd just given me the perfect excuse to fight back. On a farm, some problems need patience, some need tools, and some need raw horsepower. The Bentley was big, shiny, expensive, but not built for barns, mud, hay, and steel. My tractor was. I could almost hear my father's voice, "Son, when someone blocks your barn, you don't ask for permission. You plow through." And I knew exactly what to do. Blocking the barn wasn't a prank, it was sabotage. If I couldn't get the tractor out, I couldn't feed cattle, move hay, or maintain fields. Karen wanted chaos. By noon, neighbors gathered near the fence, whispering. Snippets: Karen's car. Tom's barn. He's furious. I did my chores, but my eyes kept drifting to that silver Bentley, gleaming like a taunt. By mid-afternoon, I'd had enough. "Karen," I said calmly, "last chance. Move the car, and we can put this behind us." She looked up unimpressed. "You're cute when you think you have authority. I'll move it when I'm good and ready. Meanwhile, find a hobby that doesn't involve heavy machinery." That was it. Final straw. I didn't argue. I walked to the tractor shed. The rumble of a John Deere engine speaks louder than any HOA bylaw. The shed door creaked open like the start of an old Western showdown. Sunlight spilled across the steel-green tractor, dust swirling, waiting for action. I'd spent years with this machine. It had pulled plows, hauled hay, yanked fence posts, it was family. That morning, it became my weapon. I slid into the seat, key in ignition. The engine roared, rolling across the fields like thunder. Chickens scattered, cows turned heads, even the oak trees seemed to shiver. Karen flinched. For the first time, she looked uncertain. I eased the tractor forward, ground vibrating beneath massive tires. Neighbors gasped, phones raised. This was theater, a reminder, some of us still play by older, stronger rules. I parked in the yard, cut the engine. Not yet. I grabbed my toolbox, checked hydraulics, tightened bolts. If I made a statement, I wouldn't risk the John Deere. Memories of hauling logs, pulling stuck trucks, nights on the hood drinking iced tea, all returned. By late afternoon, the tension thickened. Half a dozen neighbors leaned on the fence. Karen strutted toward me, voice shrill. "Tom, you're not seriously thinking of touching my Bentley, are you? That's $200,000. I leaned on the tractor, calm. "Then move it." Karen wasn't playing chicken, she dared me, betting I wouldn't act. I climbed back in, fired the engine. Silence fell. Birds paused. The crowd held its breath. The front loader hovered like a predator. Karen screamed, waving her arms, but I didn't answer. I inched forward, every bump echoing. The Bentley gleamed, daring me. It wasn't just a car, it was every insult, fine, and board meeting where I'd been dismissed. I stopped feet from the bumper, bucket poised like a guillotine. Karen shrieked. I killed the engine again, letting silence take over. I turned to neighbors. This is what happens when rules matter more than land, work, and respect. She blocked my barn all day. My cattle went hungry while she posed with her car. A few neighbors nodded, a soft clap. I started the tractor. The crowd jumped. Karen shrieked again. But I didn't move yet, the moment deserved to be savored. This wasn't revenge. It was justice. I eased forward. The front loader lined up with the Bentley's hood. The first contact came with a crunch, metal buckling. The emblem snapped off. Gasps erupted. I pressed harder. Windshield spiderwebbed. Tires squealed. Suspension groaned. Neighbors filmed. The Bentley screamed like a wounded animal. Karen lunged, shouting threats. I ignored her. The tractor flattened the car under its weight. Smoke rose. Leather tore, airbags burst. The smell of burnt rubber and scorched paint mixed with hay. Destruction, absolute, felt righteous. Neighbors cheered. Karen fell to her knees, shrieking. "My husband will have your farm." I shrugged. "Maybe, but at least my cattle are fed." The crowd laughed in relief. Deputy Miller arrived. Saw the wreck. Smirked. "Want to explain?" Car blocked my barn. She refused to move it. My tractor needed out. "You see the rest." Karen wailed, citation in hand. Miller cited her for unlawful obstruction. I had acted to protect my farm. The crowd erupted again. Karen, queen no more, stomped away. Life on the farm returned. Cattle fed. Hay stacked. Tractors rolled. HOA rules still came, but without Karen, toothless. The Bentley removed, leaving a scarred patch of earth. The story spread. Neighbors finally spoke up against Karen's tyranny. The board voted her out. Power rooted in fear never lasts. The barn door stayed open. The cattle thrived. The tractor gleamed, ready. The war had been won. Real power isn't wealth or titles, it's resilience, roots, and standing your ground. Karen learned the hard way. And me? I poured sweet tea, breathed deeply, knowing my farm, my heritage, and my way of life were intact. Every neighborhood has its secrets, and every Karen leaves her mark. If you love true HOA stories like this, make sure to watch more on our channel, and don't forget to subscribe for more real-life neighborhood drama. Thank you.